How to stop being needy. Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about how to stop being needy. Because let's be honest, when we are needy in a relationship, or it could be when we're dating someone, and we start to get really invested in that person and we start to become needy, this does run the risk of putting that person off you. Now, if you're in a relationship, they may not be put off you completely, but when you are needy, it is displaying a more unattractive behavior. So in those moments where you are needy, you are going to come across as not very attractive to your spouse or your partner. And obviously, if you are dating and you're being needy, this runs the risk of you losing them completely, especially if they haven't got to that level yet where they are emotionally invested in you in the same kind of way. So let's talk about the first thing I want to get into, which is to have other areas in your life that are important to you. Because let's be honest, if your relationship or the person that you're dating is the most important thing in your life and you have no other areas of your life that are important to you, then of course you're going to become more needy when it comes to that relationship, especially if you're very emotionally invested in that person. And basically anything that they do or say can make or break your day. This is why a lot of people, when they start dating someone and they get ghosted, they get really upset about it, because they've put a lot of emotion and investment into someone who basically isn't displaying the same level of interest, and that causes that person to start pursuing them more. They start questioning why are you ghosting me? Why aren't you speaking to me anymore? And it's all because you've got too emotionally invested in that person. Whereas someone who has a lot more emotional self-control, who is a lot more stable emotionally, won't get too bothered by someone ghosting them. I'm not saying that you won't get upset by it. I'm not saying that you won't get, feel a little bit disappointed, because you probably will, especially if you did thought this person was really cute. And you really did want to get to know them better. But, if someone who's healthy, won't let it get to them that much. Someone who's healthy will think, well, that sucks that they don't want to speak to me anymore, but on to the next person. You kind of have to treat, especially when you're dating, you have to kind of treat people who come into your life, like dating prospects, like trains. Like there's another one coming. There's always another one on its way. You can't let just one person be your be-all and end-all, and kind of have this mindset of, if I can't have this person, then I don't want anybody. Because if you're doing that, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. You can't put that kind of pressure and that kind of expectation on someone anyway. It's just not healthy. It's just not right to do that. You can't let all your hopes be pinned on this one person, because if they are, then of course you're going to become needy. Of course you're going to display those kinds of behaviors, and those behaviors will actually put them off you. So kind of like your level of investment in someone, especially at the beginning, and especially if it's really high, it can end up really putting that person off you. So your investment and love for them and adoration for them is the one thing that could actually make you lose them. So you kind of have to play it cool. You have to simmer down a bit and basically let the love story develop, okay? And allow them time to develop those same kinds of feelings for you. Because if you're not giving them time and you're becoming needy and you're over pursuing, you're not giving them time for their feelings to develop. And if they're not, and if they feel like they're not having time, if they feel like they're not free, if they feel like there's no room to grow, and you're trying to get them into a relationship straight away, then they're going to get put off by you. They're going to feel restricted. They're going to feel uneasy. They're going to feel like there's something off. Because there is, that thing that's off is you're way more invested in them and they're not there yet, and they don't feel that way yet, and they can't live up to those expectations that you're putting on them. So, you need to stop being needy, especially when it comes to when you're dating someone, because, when you're in a relationship, your partner will probably forgive you most of the time if you are being needy sometimes, but it's less likely that someone you're dating is going to forgive you for those kinds of things, for those kinds of slip-ups, because we're at the beginning of a courtship, when people are just dating each other, that emotion isn't there yet, that love for you isn't there yet, and they're just not going to forgive that kind of behavior as quickly as what someone who you're in a relationship will. So you have to have other areas in your life that are important to you. You have to have other areas in your life that mean something to you, because that will make you feel less intense about that relationship and about that person that you may be dating. So you have to have, like perhaps it's your career, perhaps it's a really important hobby, perhaps it's your friendships and your family, hopefully a lot of these kinds of things simultaneously. So don't just have your relationship and your hobbies as like the main things in your life. Have a lot of things in your life that mean a lot to you. Have a lot of things in your life that you are focusing on and working towards. So your career, your health and fitness, other areas might be your family and your friends and your hobbies, all these kinds of things, and your relationships. So don't just have them as don't just have your relationships as this one thing that is the most important thing in your life. Make other areas more important, especially when you're just dating someone. Because if that, say, getting a new relationship is like the highest point, your biggest priority, then you are going to mess up, because you're putting all of your attention, all of your focus on relationships and trying to get into a relationship. And if you're doing that, then you're going to make mistakes because you've got a high level of investment in that. So you kind of need to spread your investment, your emotional investment, out a lot into different areas, so you don't mess up your romantic relationship. So you can play it a bit more cool. So you can give them time and space to grow feelings for you if you're dating someone. So if you are enjoying the video so far, then please leave a like on it, and please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if there's anything you'd like me to discuss in a future video, then please leave it down in the comments. Or if you have any tips and advice yourself, thank you so much. So the next thing I want to talk about is awareness, being self-aware. So kind of be aware and start trying to catch yourself before you do something needy. And usually you can tell because you have like a kind of like maybe like a bit of a nervous energy about you before you send a certain kind of text message, and you're kind of wondering, oh, is this the right kind of thing to say? Trust your gut, trust your instincts. If you feel like what you're about to send is needy, if you feel like what you're about to say to this person or what you're about to do is needy, and you feel that way, then be self-aware. Like, understand that this is your brain telling you you're probably not doing the right thing here by saying this, by doing this, whatever it may be, whatever needy thing that you are about to say or about to do. So you can catch yourself. Once you become aware of these behaviors and you're aware that you're doing it, then you're more likely in the territory of knowing that you can stop yourself from doing those kinds of things. And it's all about self-control, having that self-discipline. Because if you're needy and being needy is bad, but then you continue to be needy, then you don't have much self-discipline. You need to cultivate and develop self-discipline and behave in the ways that you actually want to behave in. You want to behave in an attractive way. You want to be able to attract this person into your life. You don't want to put them off. And deep down that being needy will put them off you and won't put you in a attractive light, right? And you want to be looked at as if in an attractive light. You want to seem attractive. You want to appear attractive. And that by being needy is not going to do that. So you need to develop that self-awareness and that self-discipline to stop yourself and to not kind of drift into those behaviors. So catch yourself before you do something needy. Please, 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 please do, because I'm sure you're aware of what you're doing. I'm sure that those kinds of behaviors that are not attractive and what the behaviors are attractive. So just have that self-control, have that self-discipline, right? You have to master yourself, and he who cannot master himself cannot master others. Right? So that means if you want to have children one day, if you want to, be like a high up in an organization, you have to learn self-mastery, right? If you can't help yourself but do things that are not good for you, and you do things like display needy behavior, or you procrastinate or do something like that, remember that, remember that he who cannot master himself, or she, cannot master others. So that means if you're the head of a family and you've got kids and you can't master yourself, you can't master your own habits, your own things that you do, if you can't master yourself and cultivate self-discipline, then you're going to be a bad example for your kids. And the same goes for if you're a boss of a company, you're going to be a bad example for your employees, or whatever other kind of area that you might be a leader in. It could be like a sports thing. Perhaps you're like head of a football team or something. I highly recommend that you watch this video on how to be irresistible to help you with dating, looking more attractive, appearing more attractive, and things like that. So obviously this doesn't mean that you can never be affectionate. It doesn't mean that you can never, be a little bit needy sometimes. It just means that when you are needy, just make sure that you tone it down a lot. And one of the good ways that you can tell basically if it's a good time to be more affectionate more needy is when, you know, your partner or the person that you're dating is acting in that way. So if for whatever reason you're out on a date with a girl or a guy and they start becoming more affectionate towards you, then you can reciprocate and, you know, start to be a little bit more clingy if they're being a little bit more clingy to you. But you want to tone it down a lot. You don't want to be the one that's initiating these kinds of things, because basically you want them to get to the stage where they are falling in love with you. And if they're not there yet, no amount of you being clingy towards them, no amount of you being needy towards them is going to help that situation. In fact, it's probably going to make them withdraw from you. So, you know, wait for them to start showing you that affection, that neediness, that clinginess, and then you can reciprocate. But again, you don't want to do it too much, even in those kinds of situations, because, you know, it's just an unattractive behavior. Being needy and being clingy is just an unattractive behavior. And just because, you know, let's say they might have like 5 minutes where they're really, really affectionate towards you, and you can reciprocate when that happens, but you don't want to kind of try and prolong it and make it continue happening. You have to allow them to develop those feelings, because they might fight really, because feelings like that are very fleeting. So they might be feeling really affectionate towards you one moment, and then, you know, the moment passes and that they're, you know, gone back to more of a neutral state. So in those moments you can reciprocate, but when they've gone back to their neutral state and they've just gone back to enjoying the day and having fun and laughing with you, then, you know, and the affection has stopped, then you need to stop the affection as well, and you need to go back down to their level. So basically, if you're always going on what they're doing and always on their level, so if they're affectionate, then you're affectionate. If they're more in a neutral state, then you're in a more of a neutral state. You're allowing the love story to blossom, and that's kind of like the place where you want to get to. So you don't become needy. If you always allow them basically to kind of guide it in that kind of way, the emotion and stuff, then you're never going to appear too needy. So thank you so much for watching. If you would like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.